On this podcast, we cover sensitive subjects such as abuse, suicide, self-harm, depression, and other difficult topics. We are not medical professionals. We suffer from our own mental health issues. Our opinions should not be taken as medical advice. Dred the Stigma is for educational purposes and awareness for mental health only.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Is it?
There's some.
Is it really? Good evening, everyone. Lydia and myself, from the mind of Lydia, came up with this suggestion, which is a great, as always, suggestion.
I know we haven't been on in a while, and
right.
I know the holidays. It's difficult this time of year.
Sure.
So I wanted to make sure we at least got this one in.
Good call. Good call. That's why you're riding shotgun with me. I would say you're the brains and I'm the beauty, but no, it doesn't work that way. And nor am I the brains.
Your hair is much more luxurious than mine.
I wouldn't go that far. Yeah, the holidays are tough. Before we get it, because it's very multifaceted. I don't think because I did, I medicated myself earlier, and I did some deep diving into my own brain, and I was thinking about this, and it seems to be, to me, very multifaceted. I just wanted to say real quick before we dive into this, because we have mentioned this. Sorry, the dogs were in the background. I have mentioned before, and we've mentioned this band on the show, Citizen Soldier, and I'm pretty excited that next May I'll get to meet the band, a little Q&A, some video shout outs, which I'm hoping to get a nice little video shout out from Jake Segura, who is the lead singer there. If you haven't listened to them, go ahead, give them a shot. But I guess for those that are a little sensitive with certain subject matters, be warned. Jake was in a psychiatric hospital himself, wrote one of their songs, Let It Burn, then got out, became a trauma therapist, which I found out by watching one of their live performances. He had mentioned that. If you get a chance, you can go to citizensoldier.com. If you're thinking about maybe checking them out live, if you like them. Good band, a lot of sad songs. You will cry. I have. I'm sure Lydia has. Listen,
I want to cry right now.
She's going to cry right now.
I'm going to cry. I know. I'm not having a good month.
It has been tough. So let's kind of get into this. I was, as I said, I was thinking about the holidays, and I came across an article that a few things I just want to point out in it here in a minute. I was always under the impression, I knew mental health struggles a lot this time of year, a lot of anxiety being around family you don't want to be around, or whatever the case may be, a lot of stress, getting everything together, getting the right fucking gifts, getting just everything, dinners. But, and I knew that some people, a lot of people, are missing loved ones. I'm one of them. My wife is one of them. A lot of us out here are missing people at the dinner table. And one would, I guess, think, the layman would think, well, all of these things combine, okay, taking one's own life, those numbers should be skyrocketed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just on the surface, because everything else that usually contributes to the suicide rate is it's those stress, anxiety, depression. That's like the recipe for a very horrible situation. That is not the case, though, Lydia.
I know, that's shocking.
It is very shocking. They found
that, you know, we have this idea of things in our mind all the time. You know, the stigma of mental health, oh, well, December, they've got to be the most depressed. They've got to be most people are taking their lives in that month. So it's just showing the more we learn that everything we thought we knew was wrong.
And that's exactly right. And that's why they call it a myth. And going into this, it states that this could be adding to the problem versus, you know, to put out something that is not true, that, you know, everyone is going down that dark path and taking their own lives during this time, and the numbers are through the roof. No, this is not true. A lot of people struggling, absolutely. You're looking at 2 of them right now, and many more out there. Welcome. We got a handful of viewers. Welcome. Nobody's mentioned it or said anything in the chat, so I have no idea who's here. But I bet you one of them is my friend Sean. I bet you one of them is Sean.
His birthday was yesterday.
It was.
Happy late birthday, Sean.
Happy late birthday, Sean. A December baby. Ugh.
I don't know any of those.
So yeah, right. But it seems that December is the lowest as of 2023. I believe the study said last year December had the fewest cases of people taking their own lives
for the whole year.
What's that?
For the whole year.
For the whole year, yeah. I mean, what can one take from that? Well, again, sure, people are, you know, have a tough time. Like I said, missing loved ones, all of the, you know, usual suspects. But what they found, I think, is pretty interesting, because it also is the reason why we get sick a lot in the winter. Not so much the cold weather, although the cold weather is the culprit that keeps us inside. When we stay inside, we just recirculate germs. We're not out there. We're not getting fresh air. That contributes to poor physical health. People getting sick. I'm getting, you know, over being sick. You know a lot about that too. People getting sick in the house. I mean, it happens. Nobody's going outside. Nobody's getting that sunlight, which does help. And it's the same thing, I think, with your mental illness, because going outside.
Well, today it was like a lovely 9 degrees here. So.
Oh, yes. Yes. I mean, a perfect day for a stroll through the park, right? Yeah. I mean, it's been in like the 20s and 30s. So that's like a heat wave to you guys. But yeah, people don't go out. They're not going out this time of year unless it's to go get presents, and they're one of the lucky few that don't have, you know, a handful of mental issues that they're dealing with. There are some out there, believe it or not, Lydia, I swear, that actually enjoy this time of year. Crazy.
I feel like I used to.
I did. I definitely did.
This year I didn't really care about like
huh?
any. This year I don't know. I just didn't really care about like any holiday or any day really. And then I hate it because you talk to somebody and you say like these feelings you're going through, and they're like, "Oh, but you always look so happy. You're happy on set." And it's like, yeah, I'm acting because if I'm depressed on set, like no one's going to hire me again. They're not going to want to be around me. Nobody's going to want to do that, And then I started thinking more and more about why I feel like sometimes people get depressed around this time. And a lot of it is like social media, because you see all these posts of people that are posting like, their picture perfect Christmases and all this stuff. And then others are like, my life isn't that good, so why should I even post about it? And it's just like, on the one hand, it's great because I can be whoever I want. On the other hand, I can be whoever I want, which is not, you guys think I'm happy all the time and I'm not. And we perpetuate our own image on social media, I guess is the point I was getting at.
No, absolutely. Social media, as you said, with the people posting their picture perfect Christmas, their big trees, their house all decorated. And yeah, a lot of us are either not okay enough to do that in our own house, or we're just not in a situation that we can do that. And we have to, it reminds me of, A Christmas Carol. The great, the Charles Dickens classic. You have, Tiny Tim and what was his dad's name? Cratchit. Yeah.
I
And
just immediately pictured the Muppets.
you know what? That's hilarious. But, and you see that they're living on the poor side of town, but they're enjoying, what they have. A lot of us, and I am certainly one of them, am not one of those people. I will beat myself up for being in a situation that doesn't live up to my standards, I guess. And my standards are not high. I'm not a materialistic guy. I don't need I don't need the iWatch, all the I don't have an iPhone, never have. I'm just not that kind of guy. But there's certain things, and I think certain things from my past I try to bring about today in the Christmases I have, and it just doesn't work out that way.
So there are some Facebook comments.
Okay.
So Chuck, hi Chuck, thank you for watching.
Chuck.
He said, a book by Lewis Howes called The Mask of Masculinity is a wonderful read for men trying to work on themselves. So, Otis.
That's awesome. Yes.
Paul Harder wrote, December almost got me this year. Life got a bit heavy. We wear a mask to hide the pain. That's true.
No, very true.
And then Paul goes on to say that social media has made the keeping up with the Joneses even more prevalent than ever, which is true.
No, that's exactly, we compare ourselves to everybody, we think that we have to be up to society's standards, and that that backfires a lot of times, because when we don't, even if we don't have a mental illness that we're struggling with. You're trying to keep up with the Joneses and you never can get there. Well, now you're depressed. Now you're beating up on yourself. Or you go the other route and you rob and from people, you walk all over people to get you to that, which I guess in a sense is a mental illness.
And Sean is watching. So, hi, Sean. Happy late birthday.
Yes. Happy late birthday, Sean. So it's really tough. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say some stuff I had found on it was so in 2023, the American Psychological Association found that 89% of US adults feel stressed during the holiday season. And I'm just like, how did that 11% feel? Because I would like to feel that. And 41% reported higher stress levels compared to other times of the year. It says, to make matters worse, the National Alliance on Mental Illness noted that 64% of individuals living with a mental illness felt that their conditions worsened around the holidays.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, if you add stress to anything, you put stress into the mix of anything, and it's not gonna be good. I've been stressing. I've been, has my mental health gotten worse because of the holidays? No, because I really haven't been thinking a whole lot about it. I got what little gifts that I had to get out of the way, and I'm just not really thinking about it. That's my wife's department. I just, like you, I'm just not into it. Doesn't feel like Christmas, I guess.
Paul said, it's human nature to feel less than. We unfortunately always compare ourselves to others.
Excellent point. Yeah, great comment. Absolutely. And that's tough for somebody who really doesn't give a shit about the Joneses and is just struggling.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, I don't care about keeping up with the Joneses. Like I said, I don't have all the latest little gadgets, and because I don't care. I don't need it. Plus, I probably wouldn't be able to work the damn thing if I had one. I've gotten to that stage in my life.
Morgan said, hey.
What's happening, Morgan?
So I'm just trying to keep up with the comments.
Oh yeah, I don't have Facebook.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, Facebook.
I don't know why they're not showing up on StreamYard.
Yeah. Can't post comments to some destinations, it says down here. Okay.
Sorry. Paul said, my working theory has always been that the reason this time of year is the hardest is because it's two major family holidays back to back without a normal break.
And yeah, that's probably at the top of the list. It stresses people out and gives people the most anxiety is family gatherings.
We know how much fun those can be.
And here's the thing, maybe I'm the lucky one, but we usually, normally the kids come to us. This year we're going to the kids, go to my oldest daughter's house and spend the day over there. And of course I got my little 4-year-old grandson running around. So that family gathering for me, and it's usually a quite small one. There's not like aunts and uncles and, them really big family gatherings. Yes. My mom used to have those, and they could be rather stressful, I'm sure. But since I've been an adult, not so much. So I guess I'm fortunate in that aspect. A lot of people are not. We don't know how families can be.
So,
oh my.
It says the 6 signs that you may be struggling around the holidays.
All right.
Number 1.
Number 1. Here we go.
You're lacking the holiday spirit. Being
Huh.
surrounded by cheeriness can be stigmatizing when you don't feel the same level of enthusiasm as others. And the pressure to be social, happy, and present can make it difficult to speak up if you feel otherwise. You may feel left out if your spiritual traditions aren't the dominant ones in display this time of year.
And I think I may mention that, like, not being able to have the Christmas that, I had before when I was younger, and taking some of that family tradition, I think, as we all do, and incorporate it into our family now with our kids. And I've taken a lot from my childhood Christmas and now I can't do it. I can't live up with them traditions. Ugh. Number 2.
Well, they go
Go
into
ahead.
what can we do about this? So it says the first thing is to recognize that you don't have to force yourself to be happy, and that it's good to acknowledge that you aren't joyful, and remember that you're not the only one that's feeling alone and feeling this way.
No.
Which we stress all the time on this show. You're not alone, It says to avoid numbing or avoiding feelings by using alcohol or other substances which worsen anxiety and depression. So I know,
I got
like,
the alcohol one on lock. I think I'm good with that. I do smoke a lot of cannabis, but
I know I've been sober for a little over a year and a half, and this month, man, there was a few times I was ready to grab a drink, and I didn't, but
that's good.
It says, if possible, surround yourself with people who are feeling the same and create new traditions with them that don't necessarily have to be, the typical Christmas traditions.
Right.
So the second thing is you're overwhelmed by grief and loss. It says, if you're living with grief, loss, trauma, or loneliness, it can be easy to compare your situation to others, which can increase feelings of loneliness or sadness. Take time to check in with yourself and your feelings and have realistic expectations for how the holiday season will be. I know this is the first Christmas without my grandfather, so it's hard for me, but and like I spent all week like making cookies and sending them out to people because it always makes me feel good to like make other people feel good.
Right.
And every Christmas my papa loved chocolate chip cookies, and he would spend his summers in Florida, and I always mailed down cookies for him. But this year I don't get to do that. So maybe that's why I stressed myself out and sent them to numerous other people.
Right.
But,
yeah. Well,
Morgan said, I've never been this depressed for a holiday. This year sucked. This year really did suck.
Yeah, it was not a go one to most people that I talked to. That's really the consensus is, no, wasn't a good year. I don't know what it was, but it just wasn't a very good year for a lot of us, for sure. I want to say, I'm sorry that, this being the first Christmas without your grandfather. Did you say you called him Papa?
Papa, yeah.
Oh, okay. And I know how tough that can be.
And like, I know I'm lucky because I had, 35 years with him.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't have that. But like the last few years, because I come from a huge family, like my mom's one of 10.
Wow.
I think when I don't have like I think there was like 46 grandkids, and then like over like 35 great grandkids my papa had when he passed. In the past few years, like I know he was getting up in age. He was 89 when he died. So I was trying to make more of an effort to be involved in his life. So I don't know. Number 3.
Number 3.
We'll just move on. You're feeling pressured to participate in activities and you want no part of them. We all have our own personal history with holidays. We dream about the ways the holidays are supposed to be, which can be a dangerous perspective. And we get caught up in wanting to do it all, but we can aim to set more realistic expectations for ourselves and others.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to that, having high expectations for your own Christmas, comparing yourself to what you may see on social media, what you may see on TV, hear people talking about, oh, I'm going to do this for Christmas, I'm going to do that. And I hear that sometimes at work, and I'm like, you know what? I don't really care. Please stop. I just have to walk away. I can't tell them, stop talking about your Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
It's pissing me off. Yeah, that's, tradition, I always said, is dead people telling you what to do. Make new traditions. We don't have a ham and turkey and all that stuff on Christmas. We'll have surf and turf, steak and shrimp and crab legs or lasagna. We've had lasagna.
No spiral ham.
No spiral ham. I mean, there may be one there. I don't know. If my daughter does it, there may. I don't know.
Morgan and Sean both talked about losing. Morgan lost his grandparents 10 years ago, and Sean lost his grandfather 1 year ago today. So I'm sorry for both of you.
Sorry, guys.
And Paul said, quick peek behind the curtain. I realized that I subconsciously started my 13 horrifying days of Christmas years back to have something to distract me from the things I can't control during this time of the year and give me something to focus on that I can control and enjoy, i.e. talking horror. So that's, he started a new tradition for himself.
There you go. I mean, it's little things like that can help. Not really. Maybe, it doesn't bring you joy into the season, and you're going to love it every year, but it does, like you said, distracts you. You're making good with your time through a bad time of the year. So getting a lot of coping tactics here, people. I hope you got your pen and paper.
Yeah, it says, so what can you do about feeling pressured to participate?
Mm-hmm.
You can accept your limitations and be patient with others. Try to see others' point of view and recognize that we're all feeling at least a little stressed.
Sure.
Prioritize the most important activities or schedule get-togethers for after the holidays. Like, I'm mailing out 8 boxes of cookies tomorrow. They're not going to get to people until after Christmas. And I was like, you know what? It's the thought that counts. If they're going to be unhappy that they didn't get it until the 27th or the 28th, then you know what? Next year, I won't even think of you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of self-care, make a schedule of when you can do your shopping, baking, and cleaning, and be sure to schedule time to take care of yourself.
Absolutely. And I think that adds a lot to the stress level. We put so much of our time and energy into making your house this way. You just went on a cookie baking, like,
I have battle scars.
I bet. Oh my goodness. Yes. Look at it.
I was taking a tray out of the oven, and it's like the top and the bottom of
the rack
tray. The cookie, the actual cookie sheet.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I was like, ooh.
we're thinking so much about making this picture perfect Christmas that we neglect ourselves at the expense of others. And I can understand very well stressing out. You got kids, but if you're trying to impress other adults, and you're stressing yourself out, no, don't do that.
Hi,
It's just
Steve. Thanks for watching. Sorry.
who was it?
Steve Walenda.
Oh, okay.
He was in the
Welcome.
board with me.
Nice.
Number 4, you're stressed about giving gifts. Can I say that the best representation I have ever seen of this is the Big Bang Theory episode where Penny tells Sheldon that she got him a Christmas gift. And Sheldon is just like freaking out because he's like, what do I get her? So what he does is he decides to get her like a basket, like lotions and stuff like that. But he bought several different sizes, different varieties, so that he could see her gift and match his gift to her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is so true. Like, so many people do that. It's funny because my mom will like say stuff about, because I'll get like stuff for my nieces and nephews. And she was like, well, your brother doesn't spend that much. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm doing this for them, not for me. But a lot of people, have that like gift anxiety, especially like I would think, a lot of people are struggling financially right now. So I think the fact that if anybody can even give a gift is great. There should be no expectation that it's this huge financial burden on someone to just celebrate Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I've been watching this like unfold on TikTok. So last year, it was a huge trend that all of these like big TikTok influencers were going to the angel trees at stores. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. Is it like a giving tree?
So the Salvation Army, people apply to the program, and if their kids get chosen, a tag goes on a Christmas tree at different places, and then somebody can grab that tag, and it'll say like, oh, these are the things that they need. So they need clothes, they need a backpack, whatever. And then here's the things that they want.
Okay.
So last year, like all the big TikTok people were like going crazy and like buying stuff for like 5 kids at a time, which is great. I personally, I don't like the fact that you're recording that you're doing all this good stuff, because I feel like you should do good stuff just to do good stuff, not to get good views. But I mean, it did get a lot of other people to participate. So, I mean, that was good. Now, this year, however, it's like totally flipped. And parents have actually gotten on TikTok and complained about the gifts that they had received from said angel tree. And then there was videos of people like showing the trees, and it still had like a ton of tags. And apparently a lot of the things that, these kids were asking for, I want a new tablet, I want an iPad, I want an Xbox. Like, okay, I would love to go out and like help an angel tree kid. I would love to. But an Xbox, like, and a game, like, you're already at like how much money? Like, we could get you so many other things that you probably need for that same amount of money. So these, like a lot of these tags aren't getting chosen because they're just asking for ridiculous things.
Yeah, right.
So it's just, I don't know what my point was with this, but it's just like, oh, the equal gift giving thing. So
Mhm.
it's just crazy to see like the dynamics, especially just in 1 year,
Yeah.
watching the content from remembering the content from last year. And I'm like, it was great that like all these, because more people were wanting to go out and support Angel Tree Kids, but there was no tags left, which is, was great. And now this year it's like, I think a lot of people saw those videos and were like, oh, well, we're going to get more stuff this year. Because I'm telling you, these influencers were like not only getting everything on the list, they were getting like more stuff. So personally, this is just like my opinion. I think people saw what a big thing it was last year.
Mhm.
So they thought, oh, if my kid gets accepted, and again, this is my personal opinion, I have no idea. I feel like they were like, oh, I can ask for bigger stuff because, it's going to be a
Look what
big
they
thing.
did.
It's
Yeah.
gonna, yeah, they've already done this. They're going to
Right.
want to do more.
They set the precedence. Yeah.
But for people to get on and complain about the things that they got,
Your fucking name shouldn't even have been on the tree if you're going to
exactly.
complain about what somebody spent their hard-earned money,
Hmm.
influencer or not. And I get your point about people will go out and do great things and do what looks like, oh, there's my faith in humanity. But why do you got to film it all the time? Yeah, maybe nobody will know. Is that the point? For recognition, for clout, for clicks? And a lot of these people are doing that, and it's quite disgusting. It says more about them than it does the good deeds that they're doing. You want to do a good deed? Why don't you go to your local pet shelter, dog shelter? Get you a shelter dog, an old shelter dog. Get
Hmm.
one out of a kill shelter that's going to be put to death. There you go. Do that, and then you can show us pictures on Facebook.
Bill Harrell says, hey.
Hello, Bill.
Sean said he got Spock's DNA on a napkin, right? Yes, he did get Spock's. He got Leonard Nimoy's DNA on a napkin that Penny had got from the Cheesecake Factory. So then Sheldon came out with all of the gift baskets. And she was like, what? And he goes, I know, it's not enough. It's not enough because that's how much the napkin meant to him, So
Yeah,
he gave her everything that he had gotten.
right,
Um,
right.
Dylan says dealing with holiday season alone gets harder as you get older.
It really does. The older you get, you start losing more friends, more family members, and soon you could be left with not many, not much family as you get older.
Mhm.
It is tough for sure.
Paul commented, he goes, to kind of tie all these points together, we have a tradition in my family with giving a candy bar at Christmas. Years ago, when my uncle was about 7-ish, he asked my granddad what he wanted for Christmas, and granddad told him, it doesn't matter what you get me. What matters is that you thought about me at all. I don't care if you buy me a 5-cent Three Musketeers bar. It's the thought behind the present that matters, not the present
Mhm.
itself. And ever since, every Christmas, Granddad has gotten a Three Musketeers bar for Christmas until he passed. And now we pass that message on to the younger generations, which I think is great.
That's
And
awesome.
he said, I actually got a Three Musketeers tattoo on my arm when he passed to remind me of him in the story of the time. And I think that's great.
That's great. And the passing that down, just I think that's going to instill a lot of good morals and values, I think. And that's really what you should be getting out of these traditions. But everybody's just nice this time of year. Everybody's nice to everybody
Mm-hmm.
this time of year.
Right.
Come
Well,
January 2nd,
let's keep
back
that
to,
going.
yeah.
Sean DeBach, he goes, the holiday season sucks for me more than normal because of my health. I go for my CT scan next Monday and get the results the Monday after. The way I've been feeling for the last month, I'm not expecting great news. I know how you feel. I am actually going for a CT tomorrow. So freaking out a little bit. But Sean,
Mm,
I know we've talked about this before, and you've had these bad feelings going into CTs and they've come out fine. So we're going to keep going and thinking that it's going to come out fine. So
Right.
we'll be thinking of you, Sean.
Yeah, I know how them procedures, any kind of fucking hospital procedure, hate them.
Yeah.
What do we got next on the list? Are we at like 4? Is it 4?
Yeah, so 4 was the stressed about giving gifts.
Okay, all right. We're
So
number 5 now, unless you have
number
anything that.
5.
Oh, number
No,
5.
I think we pretty much covered
Yeah.
everything on that. Number 5, and you touched on this actually already. There's not much sunlight at all, and it's affecting your mood. So
Yeah.
in the northern hemisphere, the holidays coincide with winter's lack of available sunlight. Less exposure to natural light can lead to new or increased symptoms of depression. So what do you do about it? Try to get as much sunlight as possible.
Not 9-degree weather. It's
Right?
not take a walk through the park.
To boost your mood and regulate sleep, schedule outdoor exercise in the middle of the day when the sun is brightest.
It's still 9 degrees with
I know.
the sun
I'm
out.
like laughing.
I mean, some of these are kind of hard to do to battle these things.
Well, they go on to talk about seasonal affective disorder.
Right.
And they said it's a more severe form of the winter blues. And according to researchers, the percentage of people in the United States who struggle with SAD ranges from 1.5 in southern Florida, so that they can go out in the sunshine, to 9% in the northern states, where it's more of a struggle for us.
Right.
So
yeah, that and also, you're sick, so you feel like crap. It's amazing what going outside in a little bit of sunshine can do. Not in 9-degree weather. That would just make me angry. I'd turn around, walk right back inside, and just have to deal with the depression.
Morgan says that vitamin D helps with depression. Yes, I take 10,000 units, I think it is, of vitamin D a day. No, and then he said, or is it vitamin C? I'm like, it's vitamin D, because the more you're in the sunlight, the more your body produces vitamin D.
Yeah.
So then Sean Smithson talks about, my opinion of people recording doing good deeds or talking about it makes it bragging and not doing good deeds.
Very true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Derek says, where are you that it's 9 degrees? I'm in New York and Otis is in Ohio.
It's not 9 degrees here, actually. Let me look. It is 28 here. So a heat wave compared to what you got going on.
Well, right now is 8 degrees. I just looked at my, and it's going to be at 3 a.m. is going to be 5 degrees. So that would be good.
All right. Time for the windows to be open.
Paul says 9-degree weather, tiptoe through the frozen tulips. Now when I'm going to think of that song. Derek said he lives in Pennsylvania and you get winter one day and spring the next.
You got that right.
And then David Smart says, hey, when I get my stuff set up, I'd love to join you. So.
Absolutely.
But number 6. You're alone or feeling isolated. While it's true that many of us have friends and family to connect with during the holiday season, there's also the danger of becoming isolated. If you're predispositioned to depression or anxiety, it can be especially hard to reach out to others. So what do we always say, Otis? Check on our friends.
Check on your friends.
Especially if you know that they're like single.
That they deal with these things.
You know what I mean? If you know they're going to be alone, you don't have to invite them into your family traditions, but maybe you can go grab a cup of coffee with them the day before or something.
You'd be surprised what something that you would see as being small, how big it can be for somebody who is spending the holidays alone. By all means, if you want to invite them in and
Yeah.
give them a place to hang out, and sure. But that's you don't hinder yourself. There's other things that you can do. Don't put yourself in a weird, because I've done that. I've done that numerous times. Put myself in a position that I'm not really comfortable in, but I do it anyway. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of things. We have, I mean, we have the internet. You could sit and talk there
Yeah.
if you're
FaceTime
not like,
somebody.
yeah. I mean, because hell, like you said, you're in New York. I'm in Ohio. I got some friends in Georgia. I got some friends in Florida. It's not like I can just show up and be like, oh, Lydia, let's go get a cup of coffee. Um, so, but you have things like this, what we are broadcasting on. You could sit and chat and drink coffee that way.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's lots of things that you can do. I can't imagine, just being alone for whatever reason. Maybe you have family, but maybe they have shunned you from the family or something, horrible like that.
Well, Morgan says that he's an introvert and he doesn't have friends.
Hmm.
I think, like when I feel that way too. Everybody always says, "Oh, you have so many like followers and all this stuff," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's online. That's not like my
Hmm.
real life."
Hmm.
Um, my birthday was last weekend, and I was telling you before, I'm like, I didn't have. I have a few friends, like real life friends who live around me or whatever. I did not hear from any of them or get asked to do anything for my birthday, which whatever. It is what it is. I don't really care. I didn't really want to do anything.
Hmm.
But you know, we say we don't have friends because maybe and I had this issue because my best friend, I told her, I was like, oh, I feel like you're mad at me. I don't really hear from you. Um, and I see you're always like posting with these other people. And she was like, oh no, you'll always be my number one. And I'm just like, yeah, yeah. Um, but she was like, I only go out when people ask me to do things. And I was like, you know what? I was like, maybe I should be making more of an effort too, because the phone works both ways. And I
Sure.
will admit, I am not that great at initiating conversation. Um, but yeah.
Well, that's why I like the meme. It says, I may look real cool online, but in reality, I have two friends and I never leave the house. And I got I don't have anybody that I hang out with. It's very rare that anybody comes over to visit, which I'm kind of okay with. I mean,
Hmm.
sometimes, I get so bored. I'm like, damn, this is why it sucks to not really have, a lot of friends. But I never cared about that. I guess I was, just whatever. I don't know. I mean, I had acquaintances. I know a lot of people,
Yeah,
you
I think
know.
we throw the word friend around a
Yeah.
lot. Because I even, so Doug, Doug,
No, Doug.
um,
Yeah.
me and him had this conversation because I'll say, oh, my friend, and it's a friend from social media who I've
Hmm.
never met before, but we chit chat or whatever. And he's like, that's not
Hmm.
your friend. He's like, you've never met them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I don't know this person. Like,
Right.
and that got me thinking, a lot. And he always does that to me. I'll say it because I'll say it. I'll be like, he's like, do you know them? I'm like, yeah, they're my friend, and he's like, but you've never met them. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, they're not your friend. I'm like, I know you're right. I'm like, but I'm just so in the mindset of we're friends on social media. We're
Yeah.
friends,
I got
like,
to send a friends request. Yeah,
but
Doug. I look forward to talking with Doug. I'll be working with him here soon, coming up in April.
yeah,
There
I
for
saw him
him.
yesterday.
He's awesome. I look forward to meeting him. Never talked to him, never met him. So
Well, he's a great
time is
guy,
coming.
and
Awesome.
he will help you on set.
Good. I'll probably need it.
We
I
all need
just,
it.
I know, right? Um, it
I know.
is, it is, it is tough, but this time of year, but we're all going to get through it. Don't worry about, oh, well, I got, being around family. Don't be okay with telling somebody, no, I'm not going to come over today. Be damned
Yeah,
if it's
exactly.
Christmas, Be
Yeah, you
damned
don't.
if it's Christmas. Don't put yourself in a position that's going to, fuck you up.
Yeah, exactly. Like if the only reason you're seeing this person is because it's a holiday, then
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably wouldn't see them.
Yeah, it's not a big deal then because, if we're not hanging out and, or at least seeing each other on a somewhat regular basis outside of this holiday,
Hmm.
then what do I need to go over and be a part of, whatever you got going on? Like I said, I just spent it with my kids and my grandson, and that's my whole day, and that's perfectly fine, with me. But if you are in a situation where that the even the word family gathering is a trigger for you, don't put yourself, don't feel obligated because they're family. You come first. This thing up here comes first.
Hmm.
um and it'll probably be better off that way. You don't want to go and make a scene and really be pushed to the limits. And
And I feel like those of us with mental illness feel like a burden at these things,
yeah,
because like
yeah,
say I can't put on that mask, I can't put on that happy face. I don't want to bring the mood down for everybody
mhm,
else.
yeah.
Um, so
That's actually that actually came out of my mouth maybe a couple months ago. That if I was in my current situation, which I am at Christmas, which I will be, but not long after Christmas.
what did we say?
Yeah, that's right. Uh, after I didn't want to go to my daughter's if I was still going to be in my current
I
situation.
remember you saying that, so I was glad when you said you were going there.
Yeah, because I was like, man, nobody's going to want to be around me. I'm going to be pissed off, and there's that burden thing, and you know, I'm glad I decided to go. It took actually I had my grandson today and babysitting him, so he'd be pretty pissed if I didn't show up. But yeah, don't don't stress yourself out about anything. If it
Mhm.
helps, hey, it's just another day. Who cares what the rest of the world is doing? You have to be good with yourself. Because just think of it this way. Yeah, everything is festive and everyone's doing this and that. January 2nd, it's right back to the same shit. So
And I
don't
think I think about what Morgan said about being like an introvert.
mhm.
Um, but you know what's open on Christmas? The movies.
Movies.
I
And nobody's gonna be in there.
Well, I mean, I used to go to the movies on Christmas, like
I've done it.
um, when it was at the point like my brother and sister had already moved away, and it was just like me and my mom. We would go to the movies on Christmas.
Yeah. I went one year with my cousin and seen Harlem Nights. Remember that movie with Eddie Murphy where they're like
No,
gangsters, Harlem Nights? Oh my god. And if there's any horror fans and you don't really want to do the whole Christmas thing and you want to take Lydia's advice and go to the movies, Nosferatu.
Yes,
Christmas Day.
and Terrifier 3.
Is that hidden theaters Christmas Day?
Yeah, they're doing
Or it's already
like
out. No,
they're
never
doing
mind.
like a limited screening for Christmas.
Oh, okay. All right. So, well, there you have it.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, I am
and
excited about Nosferatu.
I'm kind of excited about it. Yeah. It looks pretty good. Although anytime the trailer looks good, who knows what you're gonna get.
Um,
I've been
so
doing
a couple comments I missed.
yes.
Sean Smithson, I have to
Uh-huh.
deviate. Sean, he said social media friends can be good friends though. I have a few I have never met in person, and we talk all the time and help or try to help each other get out of hard time.
There you go.
This guy, we've never met in person, but I consider you actually a very close
No.
friend.
Yeah. Ditto.
Um,
Absolutely.
oh, he said Otis just showed his age. I can tease you too.
Oh, Harlem Nights with the
Yeah.
Harlem Nights. Yeah.
And then Paul said, he said, know your limits. If you get overwhelmed while you're visiting family, it's okay to just say goodbye.
Yep. I got to go home. I'm out. Absolutely. Enjoy, and if you decide to either, leave early or just not go at all and just want to be by yourself this holidays and people get pissed at you for that, oh no, then you know what, just don't even talk to me. That is such a selfish way to go about that. And if somebody in your family and you're on the other end of that and a family member wants to be by themselves, isn't really feeling festive, maybe feels like they're going to bring the mood down, be supportive. Tell them, take time for yourself. Get yourself back together. We'll have our own little get together here in a couple of days when you're feeling better. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to stick to we're just going to celebrate Christmas on the 25th and that's, no. You can do stuff after for those who maybe sometimes I can't handle, even if it's my family and I don't really have a problem with it. If there's a lot of people there, regardless if I get along with them
Mm-hmm.
all, I'm still kind of like, oh. So, and maybe that's the case. So you take and do something after all the big gatherings. But
Well, yeah, like what, now it's the Friendsgiving and stuff
yeah,
like that. It's a time to get together. You're still celebrating, but it's not on the actual day. Because,
sure.
I think I remember my mom telling me a story. Growing up, we didn't have, she was a single mom, 3 kids, worked like 2 jobs. Um, and she was telling me that one year she was able to convince us that like Christmas was the next day so that she was able to get some things discounted,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, I think about that. So, the date doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You guys, you can celebrate it whenever it's good for you. I mean, it's your life. You got to stick through by tradition. No,
Mm-hmm.
no, with that.
And if you're feeling alone and you want to do something, I'm sure a soup kitchen, could use help. I know you talked about like the shelter, but I know
Mm-hmm.
like the soup kitchens get like inundated with people around this time of the year because they want to make up for everything they did wrong during the year.
For
Um,
sure.
but I feel like a lot of people, maybe won't spend the day at the soup kitchen on actual Christmas Day. So, maybe if you want to just go do a good deed, instead of, if you feel you have nowhere to go and you want to do something, that's just an option.
Absolutely. Whatever you decide to do, We want to wish you the best because we won't be talking to you before present day. Not
But
like
if you
present.
are struggling with the holidays and you need someone to talk to, you can always call or text 988 and talk to
Oh,
somebody.
down there.
Um,
I actually, yeah, right there.
so I know we stress this like every episode, and I hope somebody uses it. Um, I know I've almost used it last week.
I've used it in the past. It got me on track to coming this far. So, want to take and wish you guys a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever.
Happy Merry Hana Kwanzaa.
There you go. There
And
you
happy Festivus for the rest of us.
go. There you go. So everybody's included, but you guys have a great holiday season.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, yes, a lot of great comments.
Yes, I
And
love the interaction today.
there was a lot of it
Great,
because
it's great
this,
to see that.
yes, absolutely. Um, and probably, I'm going to guess, probably won't talk to you guys. You won't see these lovely faces until after the new year.
See you
So
next
much going
year.
on.
I'm just,
What's that?
I said, see you next year. I'm
See you
that person.
next year.
I'm that person that on New Year's Eve I'll say, okay, I'll talk to you next year. It's like the thing I look forward to every year.
Hey, it's the small things that count.
It is. But remember, you are not alone. If
You
you
are
are
not.
upset because of the holidays, reach out to somebody. Somebody else is struggling too, and
Absolutely.
you can be there for each other.
I'm open if you need to chat. You're more than welcome to hit me up. But
I
at the
try
end of
to,
the
if someone needs to talk, I will try my best to be there for you.
there you go. You guys have a great night. Thanks again for joining us here. And see you next year.